people arrested.
They're not reporting the real numbers.
The numbers are segmented and they are fictitious.
I started my career in 1997 in the United States Border Patrol. It was one of the most violent times in recent Border Patrol history. I made my bones and my reputation on that border. I believe what is happening on the border today is intentional.
We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them.
Our own government is facilitating the absolute destruction of the American immigration system, and I can prove it point by point. I'm unafraid to speak the truth. This is just data-driven and experience-driven.
Mama, that's how we come. We spreading that shit, the coronavirus. We spreading that shit. And my mama, big ass coronavirus. Open everything up. We spreading that shit. My mama. My slime roll crazy on edge.
No, stop. Guys, stop. Get off of her.
Dumb boy, man. No Ain't never got no much we come on.
You gonna be prepared, America? You ready to work out? You ready to arm yourself? Are you ready to be in a war? We live in the most uncivil times, I would say, in American history. Easily in world history for sure, and for sure American history. I could have, without exaggeration at all, I could have played 24 hours straight of one video after another that's happening across America. It's happening in our schools. If you notice, there's two things that happen, or two things that I'm seeing consistently, and I don't care how this comes off. I really don't. It's just factually true. Almost all of the violence, all of it, are some 15 to 25. 15 to 20, late 20s. The other thing is majority black crime, violent black crime. Statistics show that the data is off the chart. Black crime, violent black crime, off the chart. Talked to Tyrone Mohammed, a long interview with him. He agrees. Former convicted felon for murder, trying to change the ways in the south side of Chicago, running for Senate, says absolutely. Everything you're saying is true. All the black conservative leaders, not the corrupt pastors and the politicians, but the conservative black leaders, I don't even know what the hell you call people anymore, openly state the same thing. And then the other thing that is beginning to happen is black on white violent crime is skyrocketing. And I could have put inside those clips, one after another, just interspersed it, of now the new rage are black men and women, late teens to late 20s, coming out and saying things like, we are going to have to exterminate white people. We are going to have to hunt them down and kill them. I strongly believe that we are heading into unprecedented times where violence is going to continue to skyrocket because nothing, or the remnants of a decade of indifference, of bad policing because of BLM, defund the police, vast exodus out of the law enforcement profession, can't hire people. The people that are there have the Ferguson effect. The Ferguson effect is like this. I know the people that I'm, quote, serving hate me. It's more than likely they're all going to fight me. So why would I go and serve them? Legitimate. So when I get a call, instead of being ambushed, instead of having a response time of 35 seconds, a minute and a half, it's going to take me 12 minutes to get there because I need to make sure they're not setting me up to kill me. So you can fight for your life for 12 minutes. You know how long 12 minutes is? You know how long 1 minute is? You know how long 30 seconds is when you're fighting? Do you know how long 10 seconds is when someone's beating you and you're beating them? It's eternity. Nobody is talking about this. Nobody is. I told Tyrone Mohammed, I said, I call it the locust effect. Black youth go into convenience stores, CVS's, Walgreens, Targets, Walmarts, and like locusts, they devour everything, steal everything, and break everything. Do you know how hard it is to destroy an entire Walmart? I mean, how many people it takes to destroy a building that size? What do they have, like 1 million square feet? And then you watch the poor black residents go in afterwards, and they're crying. They're like, look at what we've done to our own communities. Where am I going to go get food now? The violence is skyrocketing. It's scary. And it's just not black population. It's the white population. It's the way we talk to each other. It's the way Americans deal now. And we used to get upset when we would hold doors. I still do hold doors for people, and people walk by. They don't even say thank you. It's as if I'm their personal doorman. But you think that's small, that's insignificant. It's not. It builds. It builds. Instead of not saying thank you to holding the door, then when I don't hold it, you get mad at me. You say something, and then you get physical with me. Then you don't like my politics, so I'm gonna key your car. I'm gonna burn it. I'm gonna burn the dealership that sells the cars. I don't like the way that I think I'm oppressed, so me and about 100 of my homies are gonna go down to the CVS and we're gonna steal everything in that building, and then we're gonna set it on fire. Why would I do that? Because nothing's gonna happen to me. I have no father. My mother has 5 other children by 3 other men. No one knows where I'm at. And the law enforcement's never going to get involved. How do I know that? Well, we had the summer of love in 2020 when the country went on fire and no one went to jail. We have facial recognition. We could see everybody and identify them immediately, and they don't do anything. Why? Because we live in a lawless country. We live in a nation that is uncivil. It's true. You may not like what I say sometimes, and I'll be quite honest, I don't care. I'm telling you, and I'm shooting you straight from the hip from a guy that did this job for 2.5 decades. I still have all my connections. I still know exactly what's going on, and I know why this is happening. What are we going to do, America? It's a fair question. What are we going to do? Well, what you do is you go and you facial recognition every single person, and then you go hunt them down and you throw their ass in jail. That's it. And then you do that over and over again, and you stack them like sardines in jail. If I have to have 500 of them arrested in the same night, then that's what happens. And guess what? It stops. It just stops. I live in a specific place where I shield my family and my son, my wife. They go to a grocery store. We have 20 grocery stores to choose from, depending on what we want to get. Probably more than 20. Go in a convenience store, don't worry about it getting robbed because they have guards in there. There's no crime. Do I believe that I'm completely safe? Absolutely not, because the savages will come in. However, I look at the inner cities and I look at what has happened, and to think of the people that have to live there that are good, hardworking people that are just trying to survive, and they're in a freaking war zone because we as a society has allowed uncivil people to do whatever the hell they want to do with no repercussions. And that is a recipe for utter disaster. And whenever we talk about things like this, we need to be open and honest and just say, you don't like what I'm saying. I understand. However, look at what's manifested from everything I just discussed. It's irrefutable. Look at it. The days of talking about it or a still picture are over. I can show you video after video after video. Got a great guest coming on in just 1 minute. But I first want to do my first sponsor is shopbellagrace.com, shopbellagrace.com/truth. And if you can play that commercial with Abby, that'd be great. Caleb, if you have it.
Start your day with the glow that comes from within. Introducing Bella Grace Elixir, a beauty secret that nurtures your skin from the inside out. Packed with natural ingredients, Bella Grace helps collagen production, reduce fine lines, and restore your youthful glow. And the best part, Bella Grace is perfect for your busy life. Take it with you on the go wherever you go. Bella Grace Elixir, discover the secret to timeless beauty. To get your hands on this product, go to www.shopbellagrace.com/truth.
shopbellagrace.com/truth. Please support our sponsors. My next guest, his name is Riley Lewis of OAN News, One America News Network. He has his show nightly at 6 p.m. Eastern called The Real Story. I've been on his show several times, so I'm honored that he would reciprocate and come on my show. So, Mr. Riley, thanks for coming on.
Privilege, and just thank you very much for having me.
Hey, no problem. So you have your nightly show on OAN, which I love, based in San Diego, which I grew up, and I read that you're from Del Mar. Is that correct?
I grew up in Encinitas, but that's where I am now, Del Mar.
Okay. Yeah, Del Mar it's a little nice, right? It's not that beautiful, is it? It's spectacular. I lived in Carlsbad, just north of you, for a decade. And so Encinitas, Carlsbad, people don't know that we're talking about the beach community just north of San Diego that is breathtaking, absolutely breathtaking in Del Mar. But one of the things that you talk about on your show, and you've had me come on your show to talk about this, and I talk about this on Truth with JJ Carrell, is the insanity of the immigration issue. And you're down there in San Diego, you're living it, the transition of everyone. And I just, when it comes to the Maryland man and the Democrats going after or trying to help El Salvadorian gang members, from a media, you are on a major media platform. Tell me from your perspective or from talking to your colleagues, what is it that is driving this story, if you will? And I believe it's insane. And correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, it is insane. And as far as the left goes and the Democrats who flew down there to meet with Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was here illegally, and it may or may not be an MS-13. Either way, though, for them, it's the only issue that's keeping their party alive right now. They don't have clear leadership. They don't have a clear platform. They lost the presidential election in spectacular fashion, Kamala being the first candidate in nearly a century to not flip one single county across the whole country. That doesn't happen very often. And immigration and border security was a giant piece of that puzzle. And for some reason, they've doubled down on this losing position, and they oppose any kind of normalcy or rational thought when it comes to that. And what I would add to, I think this tactic is going to backfire for them, JJ, but I'd like to get your thoughts too. So when hurricanes hit the people of North Carolina, you get no response from Democrats. When wildfires hit the town of Lahaina in Maui, nothing from Democrats. Joe Biden was on vacation, and when they asked him about it later, he says, quote, no comment. But meanwhile, they'll fly all the way to another country, all the way to another continent, just for somebody who came here illegally and was hanging out with known gang members. I don't understand that. But I do think they are clinging on to this issue because it's all they have in terms of political capital. They've lost every other fight, and they are a deeply divided party in disarray. And it's a betrayal, but it speaks volumes about their priorities. They care about one thing and one thing only, and that's power.
It is power, and I agree with you that it is. I think they're a dead man walking, meaning I believe the Democrat Party's dead. They don't even know it. Like they're so consumed in their ideology, they don't understand what they're doing. The optics of it, of sitting at a table, a cabana, and having a drink with a MS-13 gang member. And their argument, Riley, their argument is, well, he's not an MS-13 gang member. And my argument back is, okay, let's play that we're in the Alice in Wonderland fantasy game. He's not an illegal alien. I mean, he's not an MS-13. He's an illegal alien from El Salvador. Where do you want to put him? And what they want to do is put him back in America, let him walk free. Have you? And I know you have been following this. And I played a montage of criminality in America. But what I have seen, I would like to hear your perspective being in this massive news market you're in San Diego on an incredible platform of OAN. I am seeing now a flooding of the news cycle of rapes, murders, homicides, assaults on American citizens by illegal aliens. Are you seeing that, or am I just in my own algorithm where it's just getting pushed to me, or is this actually happening?
It is. It's every day. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, who's doing amazing work, just put out a video on X today, actually, talking about the latest list of migrant crime. And this is where Democrats really dug themselves into a hole. First, they said, well, border security is not really an issue. Then they moved the goalpost and said illegal immigration specifically isn't an issue. Then they said illegal immigrants who have violent criminal histories. That's not a problem either. Then they had the mainstream media cover up for the migrant crime wave in this country. And then on top of it all, you have people like Laken Riley, Rachel Morin, Jocelyn Nungarai, their lives taken. Our fellow Americans, they're lost their lives. We can't get their lives back, unfortunately, but we can deport their killers. And even then, Democrats tried to stonewall efforts to deport people like Jose Ibarra, who took Laken Riley's life. It's a complete betrayal, and it's not just in your feed, it's all over the place. And for those of us who are really paying attention, it's perfectly obvious what's going on. This nation has been invaded. People are coming here not to assimilate, but to conquer it. And Democrats are helping them get here and helping them stay here.
Let me add, I have a very strong understanding and belief of the big question that no one ever asks. You've asked me this before. You're one of the few, but I'm going to ask it back to you. Yes, we've been invaded. Yes, it's 30 million people. We can argue about, is it 18, is it 25, is it 30? Tens of millions are here. I want to ask you the three-letter question. Why? Why do you think that our government did this to us in the last 4 years, but in totality, the last 60, 70 years?
I think it's about power. I think they are unhappy with this electorate and they want a new one. Ultimately, though, I think there are some people in the party that just want to destroy this country. They think it's systemically racist. They think it's built on the backs of white supremacists, the founding fathers. There's a whole group, a very sizable group of people in this country who think America is fundamentally bad and they want to see the system be destroyed. And I think this is one of the fastest ways that they've been able to do it. It's been chaotic. They've sown chaos, and it's been extremely destabilizing. We've had too much immigration across the board in the last 5 years. I think we need to shut the border down, complete moratorium. We need a 20 to 30-year cooling off period just to get back to equilibrium, just to figure out who's in the country. Suspected terrorists, gang members, where are they? What are they plotting? But simply put, JJ, I really firmly believe that the Biden administration specifically wanted to destroy this country, and they thought the fastest way to do that is to literally open the floodgates to tens of millions of people that will radically transform this country so that America in the future is not the America that we grew up in.
And the data shows that. I don't know if you saw this. Elon Musk reposted a tweet today where a guy used Gronk and fed Gronk a bunch of data, immigration data, population data, and it spun up and said that the Republicans would have a 10 to 20 seat majority if you remove the illegal aliens from the census. Did you see that today?
I didn't.
That's what happened, and Elon Musk has now come out, and this is what I have said many times. I've written about it in my books. We are sitting on a demo, and I'd like to hear your response, if I'm off or if you think I'm on the mark. This is a demographic tie bomb sitting in America, and it's going to explode. If Donald Trump does nothing, we lose. Donald Trump has to go all in and remove all 50 million people, because we're looking on a 50 million demographic layered on top of that birth rates of almost 5 times that of American citizens. It's over. It's a bad math problem. And then on top of that, what people don't understand is when they get the census in 2030 and they want to count every single illegal alien, the Democrats do, it will be a 60-seat switch majority for the Democrats. And as Elon Musk said, it's over. Do you think that I'm oversimplifying, or do you think I'm on the mark on this?
It's sad, but I think you're completely over the target, JJ. I do. And the thing that's most sinister to me, it's very easy when you think about it, looking at the last election, to sway a federal election's outcome. You don't need to bring them into every single state. Just flood the swing states. Get them into Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan. Get them voting. Whether they have IDs or not, that's another question. You just need them to cast a ballot. And that's why it's very, very disturbing and suspicious to me to see that Democrats and these activist rogue judges are pushing back against Trump, saying you can't require citizens to prove that they're citizens before they register to vote in federal elections. That is extremely suspicious to me. And I think the only reason that someone would take that position is because they want non-citizens and illegals to radically transform this country.
I think it goes against common sense. Just common sense. And then if you apply common sense to the Democrats' logic, it shows that they're corrupt. There is no other explanation. Do you think that do you think what Donald Trump
I actually think it's beyond corruption. I think it's evil, quite frankly. Your own citizens are being preyed upon by kidnappers and human traffickers and drug traffickers, and you say nothing, but then you'll fly to another continent to rescue one of them. I think it's beyond corrupt, JJ. I think that's just pure evil. I do.
I'm glad you said that, because that's something that I focus on my show. Is I think we have passed that time where we talk about, well, that's corrupt. It is evil what is happening. I mean, we can segue from the border and segue into fatherlessness, illegitimate births. We can go into the lack of the Christian populations dying. Then we can go into abortion, transgender ideology, all of this child mutilation. And if you don't think that it is now a world of good versus evil, which is being replacing the real words God versus Satan. Do you believe that, or do you think that, again, that I'm just off the mark?
I firmly believe we're in the midst of it. I think we've always been in this fight. To your earlier point, JJ, these issues have been cropping up for a long time. We did not get here overnight. We're just at the zenith right now, so it's perfectly obvious what's going on. There's been way too much radical change, and really what I worry about is the breakup of the whole union. We have this massive continental-sized country, and I'm worried about 50 states becoming 50 different countries because the people in those states look at what's going on and say, we just don't want to be a part of the union anymore because it's being destroyed. So that's really what I worry about big picture, is watching the country itself break apart and splinter into a million pieces, because there's two ways you keep a country together: coercion, which is what they do in China, or consent. And 13 colonies came together consensually 250 years ago and said, we want to be one country, one nation under God. We've become, in many cases, godless now. It's sad. We've turned our back on morality, and we've turned our back on our own people. Our own people are being attacked and robbed, and they're losing their whole culture. And that's the thing about immigration. It worked in America en masse, in part, for a while, because people came here to be Americans. They held our beliefs. They shared our values. They envied the American dream. They wanted opportunity. And because they respected this country, they came here legally. They did it the right way. And the people who are coming here illegally make it very known from day one, they're not interested in becoming Americans. They want free stuff from the government. Yes, they want to live here, but they're waving the flags of their own home countries when they come here. They don't speak the language, and they don't even try to. And that speaks volumes about the fact that we're losing America. That's just what's happening. I don't know what you do about that necessarily, but that's really what I worry about long term.
I don't think that's hyperbole. And I would like to stay on this topic just for a minute, because it's something that you said just earlier. And when you said there is a big percentage of Americans that feel this way, and I think that we have been led to believe through propaganda and through trying to ease the conservative mind that we outweigh them. There's way more than us than them. They're a small fraction. I think that's a lie. I don't think they're a small fraction. I think they're a big, significant percentage of Americans that feel like they hate America. And that is what I think you're stating to like you're looking like most conservative critical thinkers. You're not looking at the present. You're looking at the present situation and the factors and variables and going, this is the logical outcome. So you're saying, if I'm correct, that you believe it isn't a small faction. It's a very significant percentage of Americans. And the manifestation of this, if we don't change it, will be a balkanized and torn apart America. Am I reading you correctly?
I don't know if it's a majority. I don't know if it's 50-50. I would just be guessing on that, but that is right. I do think it's a growing majority, and they're very loud, and they get into positions of power in the Democrat Party. And I look at a lot of these politicians, even say Ilhan Omar as an example. You don't see her waving American flags, just the Somali flag. She openly represents the interests of foreign countries here on American soil, and her colleagues, they support her for that. They embrace her for that. I understand freedom of speech or carrying your heritage with you, but you have lawmakers in America who are paid by us, our taxpayer dollars, who openly express disdain for this country, for its founders, for its history, for its values every single day, and they continue to climb the ladder. What happens when they get to the top? What happens when someone like that finally becomes president? You get someone like Joe Biden, who ran this place into the ground. So I don't know if it's a majority, JJ, of people, but it's certainly a sizable group of people, and it speaks to the power of propaganda, because America is fundamentally good, and anyone who can't see that needs to look through history a little bit more, because this is really all we've got. If America falls, I don't know where else you go. I don't think you go anywhere, and when America begins to fall, people think that other nations are going to come to our aid. No one's coming. No one's coming. We have all the riches, and they could take it, and they will. In the beginning of my show, I talked about the uncivility of America.
the crime, the not holding the door. That's so blasé. It's so last year, but it's emblematic of where we are now. Are you seeing that in the media, in your life in San Diego and California? Are you seeing there's no civil discourse? There's no, and maybe there isn't because there's no shared morality anymore. Are you seeing that?
I am, and I thought at first, if you'd asked me a couple months ago, I would say that I see something of a counterforce to that, so maybe it's not so bad. But when you look at someone like a Luigi Mangione, someone who just murders somebody else, allegedly, in cold blood, they get celebrated for it. Look at what happened in Frisco, Texas, at that track meet with Austin Metcalf, who was stabbed in the heart. You have maybe a third of people in this country, maybe up to a half of them, who openly support that. They raise money for these people. They tout them in the media. They make them into folk heroes. So it'd be different if it was just not opening doors, which is still bad. It's still a breakdown. But to see people openly celebrating what is obviously evil is a step further, and it's something I never thought I would see, and it's deeply disturbing to me.
Do you think we are going to see justice in America? Meaning, we know it's treason. Donald Trump's talking about it's treason what Biden did. Well, if you're making an allegation of a serious felony, then the next thing is indictments. We don't see the Epstein files. We don't see arrest. We don't see any. There's no arrest. None. The only arrests that we're seeing are two judges, which I applaud. One helped the illegal alien escape and then was arrested, and then one was actually living and providing firearms to a TDA member as a judge, and they've both been arrested. But outside of I call it a small fish, do you think we're ever going to see the big traders, the massive pedophilia, the stealing of trillions, not billions, trillions of dollars? Do you think we are ever going to see justice in form of indictments and arrest?
I hope and I pray for that every single day, but I don't. I really don't. The only thing it takes for evil to thrive is for good people to stand down and do nothing. Edmund Burke said that very famously, and it's really true. And I see a lot of good people in the world that just aren't being aggressive enough in the pursuit of that. And I think this existential battle never ends. And one thing I've noticed from the election, so to speak, is that people they win, big victory, the good guys won, thankfully, and then people naturally get a little bit complacent. They fall back on their heels. They think the battle's been won. The battle's never really won. We have to keep fighting for it. And if we're not willing to fight for this country, we will lose it. And I think that's what's going on. For so long, people haven't been fighting for it, and we've lost it. And just little by little, day by day, until it all happens all at once, like Paradise Lost. So I hope that we get some real accountability. But when you see enough evil perpetuated over and over and over again, over administrations throughout the years, and nothing's done, you get to a place where you're just a little bit cynical and you realize hope isn't enough. We need aggressive action. And if there's never any accountability, then this stuff will just continue to happen. And that's exactly the cycle we're in, and we need to break out of it.
You and I could talk forever about this subject, because I believe America is such an incredible prize to fight for, because I believe we are in a war. We're in a war for the soul of America. And I'm going to ask you this last question, and I'm going to give you my analogy, if you will, or my description of where I think we are as a nation. And I'd like to hear your final comments on this. I believe in the form of the old way we used to do war, right? Think of World War II. The battle line has been drawn. We have been fighting for a long time. We're still fighting, but we've pulled back our ranks, and we're now reloading for this final battle. And both sides know that this is going to be just a bloodfest, and we don't know who's going to win. And that's how I am feeling about America right now, that I don't know if we're going to win. I don't, because I don't see enough of us that are willing to not only physically and violently attack the other party that's physically and violently attacking us, or even to engage in strong dialogue to where we say, enough. I'm not going to follow the unconstitutional orders of the judges. But in my mind, that's how I feel right now. I feel like we're fighting, but the majority of the forces have pulled back. They're reloading. They're getting their game plans, and then it's going to be a rush. I don't know if it's going to be 3 months from now, a year from now, but it's coming. Do you feel that, or any way of that I am articulating this correctly or incorrectly?
No, I do. I hear you. I do. I think we have an uphill battle on our hands. I think it is winnable. I'm hopeful at the end of the day. But I will say we have to make some serious changes, and we have to be much more aggressive. And it's going to require it's a team effort. We all have to get involved. We all have to step up and do something, run for local politics, talk about these issues. The time for talking is really over. We need action, and we need a lot of it. And I think really what's going on, what I am saying though, that gives me some hope is there's some kind of an awakening. In this last election, I was thinking before it, there's no way that this country is going to go with Kamala Harris after 4 years of her and Joe Biden, after everything they've done to the American people. And she got more than 5 votes. So I'll say that there's a sizable amount of people that actually do think that she was qualified. But either way, I do think most Americans, at least the ones that voted, did push back. So I see some awakening, and that gives me hope to keep fighting. Clearly, there are other people who are seeing what's going on, and they're filled with disgust, even if they're not speaking up. So this has to be the call to action. There's a point in time in your life where you have to get off the sidelines and get in the game and fight like your future depends on it, because it really does. I know the left says that, and it's ridiculous because they want to turn the U.S. into the USSR, into a one-party police state. But that's the thing, is it's really up to us. This is a country of, by, and for the people, and we the people have to fight. No more relying on politicians, no more relying on just one president who only gets 4 years to save this country. We have to get into the trenches ourselves, and we have to be relentless, and we have to be persistent about it. So that's what I try to do in my day-to-day life in any way that I can, even on just small scales. I firmly believe in this country. My family's been here for over 100 years. I'm not going anywhere. I'm vested. I have skin in the game, and it would be so heartbreaking to see this country fall. So like the patriots that fought in World War II, because I'm not comparing myself to them, but they did it out of love for their country and love for goodness. And that's what we have to realize. Those who love this country have to step up, have to speak up, have to fight for it, because we could lose it at any time, and tomorrow's not guaranteed. So what I'm hoping to see in the future is ground game from Republicans. I want a resurgence in this country, a renaissance. I think you're seeing a little bit of it. There is an awakening happening, and I think we saw that last election. People from barbershops in the Bronx, people from Amish country in Pennsylvania, riding to the polls. Something historic happened. There is a shift going on in this country. I just don't know if it's going to be enough, because you look to 2028 and beyond, and the communist radicals are still there, and they play the long game. They do. They do not rest on their laurels, and they're willing to be violent, unlike people on the right, it's a good thing. I don't want violence at all. I'm not condoning that, but we have to be willing to fight in any way that we can to save this country before it's gone, because once it's gone, it's going to be real tough to get back.
Amen to that. You have an incredible show. I want my audience to please find you on OAN every night, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. The Real Story with Riley Lewis. Riley, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate giving us so much of your time to talk about something that I believe is the greatest issue, and that is saving our republic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, brother.
All right, have a good one. Riley Lewis, OAN. I have been on his show. I've watched his show. He has an excellent show. He talks just like that. My wife and I love OAN. We watch it because it's very professionally done, but it's unfiltered in a way. Does that make sense? It's like Riley Lewis his show is, this is what's happening. This is what I think is happening. I'm not going to candy coat it. This is what's happening. This is my research. This is my citations, if you will. Great show. Riley Lewis, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, nightly on OAN, One American News Network. One of my sponsors, Pet Club 24/7, petclub247.com, or just go to truthwithjj247.com. Caleb, I don't know if you have that commercial on Pet Club, but I love it. Yep, there it is. And my favorite is the end. So this commercial, the ending's the best because it's a father and a son. It makes me think of me and my little dude who's now not a little dude, and I miss those little dude days. Go ahead and play this, please.
There's nothing we wouldn't do for our pets. They're like our children. Our friends at Pet Club 24/7 have developed natural products that contain the most potent strain of a mushroom that's been used for thousands of years to help support the immune system. So visit their website today to discover how they're changing the way that pets and their parents are being treated for the better.
Love Pet Club 24/7. Truth with JJ247.com. It is Kristen and Kurt. They're the owners, incredible Christian family that believe that God, believe this or not, I know this is a crazy thought, that God actually provided everything we need here on earth. That God did not create the earth in 6 days and then rest on the seventh day and then said to himself, oh, I didn't put anything on the earth to make humans, the image of me, prosper, be healthy. Don't worry about it, he told himself. Don't worry about it, God. I will wait 2,000 plus years and wait for pharmaceuticals to come to fruition. And then they will provide the 32 different shots, 64 different shots that babies need. Because God failed. God failed to create a baby naturally without the pharmaceuticals. Do you see how absurd that is? Just me saying out loud, you hear how stupid that is? And now we're finding out with RFK Jr., and then the FDA is coming out, is we have been lied to. If my son was born today, there's no way in hell he gets a vaccination. None, zero. No. Why are the Amish, why are they completely unaffected by autism? They are the example of science, right? What you do in science, you get a control group. We have an enormous control group of the Amish and an enormous control group called the Americans, the non-Amish, we'll call them, that have been vaccinated up and down, and we have autism at the rate of about 1 in 8 in California. And the Amish, 1 in 1 billion. Doesn't exist. How can anybody look at that and go, I connect the dots? Where everyone's saying, don't look at the Amish. They're weird. They don't like electricity. They're weird. Okay, they're weird. Let's say they're weird. I don't think they're weird, but let's say they're weird. So what changes? Autism doesn't affect weird people? Is that what you're going to tell me? Well, those people can throw up a barn in a weekend. Those people make insane good food, like insane. If you're ever in the Amish country in Pennsylvania, stop. Don't go to McDonald's or Wendy's. Go in to an Amish restaurant on the side of the road and be prepared to have insanely delicious food. And it's going to be insanely delicious because it's natural. They're not eating hormones. They're not eating plastics that are put in their food. Here's something. Right when I said plastics, I'm going to have to ask Logan and Caleb to bleep that out if we go on YouTube. Do you know the only thing that gets me dinged on YouTube right now? I mean, I'm talking about everything else. I'm always thinking, I'm going to get punished by YouTube and I'm going to be demonetized and they're going to kick me off. Do you know the only thing that seems to rankle them right now is when I talk about plastics in the food. I swear to you. It's a known fact. Everyone knows it. It's already been scientifically proven. Plastics in our food, metals in our lotions and shampoos, it's done. It's a done deal. They ding me on it. TikTok, it's strange. So YouTube bans me on, censors me on plastics and food. TikTok can't stand when I talk about anything about transgender, anything, or anything about a man exposing himself to women in women's locker rooms or whatever. TikTok hates it. Instagram is more free flowing, but anything about transgender, they're going to ping me. I can honestly say, since I've joined in this, or I started this new career in media, we'll just call it media for a broad term, been doing it for almost 2 years, less than 2 years really. I'm telling you with 100% certainty, there is no freedom of speech in America. There isn't. X is great, but it still has. I still get pinged, suppressed. People I know with huge accounts get suppressed. Riley Lewis is correct. You better get in the fight. Our freedoms have been completely shredded. Let's go through it for a second. First Amendment, we're censored. Nonstop censored. Self-censored, media censored, suppressed, shadow banned, Facebook sucks, all that. It's already been proven. It's not even open. It's not open for debate or argument. It is what it is. We live in a suppressed society. Your Fourth Amendment search and seizure is gone. It's gone. The Patriot Act destroyed everything. There's a secret court that they go to, law enforcement goes to, and gets a judge to rubber stamp it. Nobody knows where it's at. No one knows how to get in. Do you think our founding fathers would not already began stacking bodies? Our founding fathers would have walked in to Pennsylvania and said, I'm here for Congress. Let's get started. And another congressman would say, hey, we're going to do a court and we're going to spy on Americans. Our founding fathers would have put a gun to their head and they would have been dead and they would start stacking bodies outside. Not now. And I'm going to be upfront. When I was so angry after 9/11 and I was in law enforcement, the Patriot Act came out, I didn't look at the totality of it and I bit it hook, line, and sinker. And then as the years went by, I went, wait a minute, you can spy on me? So, and I know, because I lived in law enforcement, I know how this works. I bump up on the guardrails of the Constitution. There's the Patriot Act. All I have to do is make that connection of someone from the outside speaking to me, or this person 3 people removed from me, and I can tie the conversation. Somehow it went through me. Okay, I can spy on JJ. No warrant. Nope. What about religious freedom? Ripped away through the vaccine from the pandemic. Can't go to church. Go to strip clubs, get a lap dance, but you can't go receive the Eucharist, the body and blood of Jesus Christ, or go to a Protestant church or a synagogue or a Muslim temple. Can't. Muslim mosque. Can't. You can't move. You can't move freely in society. We've stripped all your rights away. America has already changed. Will we get it back? As Riley Lewis said, I'm looking at Riley Lewis, a very smart man, very highly educated, very successful in the media world, in the conservative media world. And I'm asking the same question I asked myself. Are we going to come out of this? And we both, and people like me that I talk to, this is the normal reaction. Let me show you. It's a physical reaction. We don't even really say it. We kind of go, we don't know. Look, I showed you in the beginning of my episode today. And one of the things that I preach constantly, you need to be prepared. Violence is on the rise in America. This isn't fear-mongering. This is just, or blackpilling. This is just the truth. Violence is skyrocketing. Police are ineffective. You need to be prepared. Is it through physical? I mean, is it through, your physical being? Is it through food and nutrition like Patriots Made or Bella Grace or Pet Club 24/7? Or is it having sat phones? Is it having internet Starlink? Is it having connectability? You need to be prepared because we do not know what's going to happen. And before you scoff at, I don't know what's going to happen, let's go back in a time machine and go back 10 years ago. And 10 years ago, I would have said, this is what's going to happen in the next 10 years. Transgender ideology, violence galore, a pandemic, and you can't move, you can't do anything. The most racist senator and vice president in the history of America is going to get more black votes than Donald Trump, and they're going to steal the election. They're going to get 15 million votes that they can't find anymore. And I just go on and on. You would say, you're insane. In fact, I know, because I was talking to people like that were telling me, hey, you know what? I question 9/11. I question the moon landing. I question this, the AIDS epidemic. I question all that. And I think those people are so weird. But those people are not weird. They're right on the money. So be prepared. Every Friday I talk to Chris from sat123.com. And I like his accent. I think he's in Denver still, so he's freezing, which makes me happy because the last time I talked to him, he had palm trees in the background and just really ticked me off because I miss those palm trees. Chris, come on in to the show. How you doing, my man?
I'm good, JJ. No palm trees today, mate. We've got rain and misery, so you should be very happy.
I am. That makes me happy. It's in a very sick, weird way. You being cold and miserable makes me happy. Instead of you, I would kill to be on the beach in Belize. Is that where you were, in Belize?
I was, yeah. And funnily enough, you fly to Belize City from the U.S. and then you take a little puddle jumper, like a Cessna Caravan, over to the island of Kikoka or whatever island you're going to. And you take off and you land. It's kind of a 5-10 minute flight. And the very same flight that we were on just last week, a U.S. citizen was on vacation apparently, pulled a knife and tried to hijack the plane, and then another U.S. citizen happened to have a gun on him and shot him. Just on the flights. Never a dull
everyone
moment.
there. Oh, and everyone there is probably thinking, those Americans, why can't you just keep that there, right? It's just, you never know, right? The world is changing so fast. But one of the products that you and I talked a little bit offline, and you said, I want to talk about our product, Starlink. So I really want you to dive into that today, to talk about being prepared in that product on Sat123.
Well, yeah, JJ, absolutely. I mean, look, we've talked often about, what you experienced in law enforcement and all of the troubles in the world and all of the those countries out there who are plotting against us and attacking our internet networks and communications networks every single day. Ransoms, people are being held to ransom, their data is being held to ransom, companies are being taken offline. This is ongoing. It's not widely reported. People often settle and pay money to make it go away, but it is only getting worse. And so what you have to make sure of is that for yourself and or for your business, you have a way to communicate and have internet access no matter what is going on. Because look, you and I leave the house without our phone, right? We'll turn right around and go back and get it. We're so used to being connected, and we just don't know what to do anymore if we're not connected. But the reality is that with the Chinese cutting undersea cables, which the World Internet Data Communication System relies upon, with the kind of ransomware attacks, the DNS attacks that are going on every single day, and the malware being planted in our communications networks, you can't rely on those communications networks being there when you need them or all the time. So the one way around that is, of course, to have the Starlink mobile internet service, JJ. And this isn't the big dish that you have to install or whatever. This is a mobile unit, the Starlink Gen 3. It weighs only about 10 pounds with the battery pack. And you can literally just take this outside, unfold it, point it at the sky, and you're up and running with speeds approaching 5G or what you're used to on your regular internet. But this service works almost anywhere on Earth. So, if the internet should go out in your city, or if you're just going, look, we're coming into the summer, right? If you have an RV, you're going camping, hiking, fishing, you can throw this in a backpack and you can stay in touch with your family, friends, loved ones, and maybe most importantly, your business, no matter where you are. And whatever happens on the ground, if there's a power outage, if the networks are overrun or attacked and taken offline, you are going to be online no matter what's going on, JJ. And this equipment can cost you anywhere from $300-400 to $600-700. But at sat123.com right now, we're doing the Starlink Gen 3, the latest portable unit, free with activation, and you're paying just $200 a month to get 500 gigabytes of priority internet service, JJ.
Wow, that's amazing. And that's being prepared. And I think if I had to nail down my show, one of the pillars is just be prepared. Have it and pray you never need it. But if you do need it, my Lord, it's there, right? It's like having a sat phone, having connectability. Because if you don't have connectability and you're out in this world, you're done. It's just, it's a free for all. Yeah, I agree with that. And then if you go into Belize, and then you in your puddle jumping and living the life of grand luxury like you did, you need that connectability, right? You do.
Yeah.
You're like living the lifestyles of rich and famous. That's you. Well, we'll start following you around. But I appreciate you coming on. Can you talk to us real quick too about your new podcast that Sat123 has?
Well, yeah, and I appreciate you coming on. It's we've been pre-recording some episodes. It's called The Escape Zone on Rumble. And we're talking to people like yourself who are in law enforcement, technology, security, survival. We've got ex-CIA officers, all kinds of different people, doctors who are into natural medicine. And we're bringing them on to talk about what they do and how it might relate to the average American who wants to be prepared and who wants to just lead a better life, JJ. So I appreciate you bringing that up. It's The Escape Zone podcast on rumble.com. Please check us out. And I believe next week, my interview with your good self will be coming up. So I'll be sure to do that URL.
That's great. Chris, thank you for coming on every Friday. I really appreciate it. Now go enjoy a miserable, cold weekend because you've earned it. Have a great weekend, Chris. Thank you, mate.
You too. Thanks, mate. Cheers.
All right. Bye-bye. Mate and cheers. I love that. He just makes me happy, right? He just makes me happy. Sat123.com/JJ. That's a good way to end the weekend or end the week going into the weekend. Something cheerful. Because there are times when I'm watching this stuff and I'm seeing it and I've talked about this before where there are moments throughout the week or throughout a month, I think am I seeing things clearly? Am I in my own algorithm? Meaning I'm searching certain things and it's just popping up, or I'm looking for it and it's coming up, and then I reach out to friends. I literally reach out to several friends that I trust, really trust, and I call them and say, "Hey, I need a reality check." And they watch my show, they read my stuff. They're very supportive, and they're very honest, and that's why I call them and say, Am I really on track? I think I'm on track, but I just need an outside voice to say yes or no. And they're very honest. Hey man, this, that, or the other. But they're like, no, dude, you're on. You're on. Which makes me feel good at the same time, makes me feel a little bad, a little sad if I'm a leftist, if my feelings are hurt, because I don't want it to be like this. I don't want to have to talk about these things. I would love to do a show on the greatness. Look at what's happening in America. Those days are coming. I feel it. But just like Riley said, Riley Lewis, you got to get in the fight, and you better be prepared to fight, because the people on the other side hate you and they want to take everything that you have. Go into the weekend, love your family, have a great time, but get mentally and physically prepared, because we're in a war.
You're watching Worldview 2, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcasts of Brannon House. You're watching Worldview 2, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcasts of Brannon House. You're watching Worldview 2, built on the 35 years of Worldview books, documentaries, research, high-profile interviews, and the radio and television broadcast.